Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our seventh episode of the Future of Intermodal. Please welcome our host, Mr. Frank Sonzala. Frank?
Thank you, Natalia. Well, number 7, that's a lucky number, and we're lucky today to have one of the longest standing organizations in the industry, the trucking industry, and that is the Intermodal Association of North America as being one of our first guests. You know how we like to have the podcasts that have something to do with our industry, and then something the industry can maybe learn from. And I believe it's going to be a really good show, and I can't wait to get it started. So Natalia, who is our first guest?
Yes, Frank. Our first guest is the Senior Vice President of Member Services for the Intermodal Association of North America, Mr. Steve Keppler. Welcome, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Natalia, Frank. We appreciate you having us on today.
Well, hey, you know what? We've been talking about this for some time, and then COVID-19 came in, and things got a little messed up. We quit doing podcasts because of the social distancing. I'm not a big fan of the social distancing. It's physical distancing, okay? So we're physically distant. You're all the way across the United States and in Washington, D.C. I'm all the way out here in Southgate, California, and no need for masks, okay? Maybe a need for me to have a mask on because the makeup doesn't do a lot of good for me. It doesn't make me look any better. A mask could probably be a little bit better. However, thank you so much for coming on board, and I've got a number of questions to ask you. But first, I want to talk a little bit and have you talk to IANA and what it's all about and how it works and why, as the Intermodal Association's number one program for its constituents, how's it all come together with the trucking industry and all the other sides? So please, let us know.
Sure. Well, thanks, Frank. Again, appreciate the time today. You know, IANA is a unique organization. We're really the only of its type that represents the combined interests of the industry. It's trucking, it's rail, it's marine, it's 3PLs, it's suppliers. And really, we're unique in that we bring everybody together, and that's our value. Our tagline, if you call it that, is a connecting force of intermodal freight. And the business is really, that's what it's about. It's about, more than one mode moving freight. And so it's not a singular mode being able to get the job done. It's working together and being collaborative. And that's really what we bring to the table in terms of how our members interact. We are able to, 3 major things we work on as part of our pillars, if you will, are innovation, education, and dialogue. And so all of those things, we are doing things and delivering different types of assets and deliverables and communications focused on those 3 things to really help promote the business, help promote the industry. The intermodal started back in the 50s, and now it's a mature industry. And I think a lot of folks, a lot of what we're trying to do is communicate that across the freight sector. It's not an afterthought anymore. It really should be part of every customer's mix of transportation options that they offer. And so that's a really big part of what we do. We do events throughout the year. We do 2 big events that really help bring our members together in the industry. One in Chicago every year, another one out your way every year, and beautiful California. Yes. And where we bring folks together to really tackle, provide education across the industry, provide our committee work, which we'll talk about, I think, a little bit later, really bringing people together to solve problems and to challenge people to really get outside of their comfort zone, because it is really, you have to work across the modes to be successful. And that's what we do. We provide that environment, that forum, that mode-neutral forum where people can talk, share their issues, share their lessons learned, and learn from each other. And that's a big part of what we do. And so we do that through multiple platforms. We've got a number of communications vehicles that we use to deliver this innovation and the education and the dialogue that we do on a day-to-day basis. And so I think Another part of what we do, I think that's a valuable service to the industry, is we collect data on the market. So we collect data on how the market is performing, and periodically report that out to the members in the industry. A big part of what the members are, particularly in these times, they're trying to understand what's happening, both backwards and forwards. And so we provide a forum to help provide that information, to help educate them on how to help their businesses and their partners' businesses and moving forward.
Great. We know that or you told me earlier in the day that you have over 1,000 members in this organization. And I know we have divisions, and could you just talk about each division briefly, and let me know what kind of people are in those divisions?
Sure. We have 5 primary divisions, and we have a sixth member class called associate member. But our 5 primary divisions are our railroad division, our motor carrier division, our marine division, which includes ports, terminal operators, steamship lines, our 3PL division, and our supplier division. And the supplier division essentially is providing services to the other divisions. I call it the glue that helps keep the modes, working and operating and moving, the grease, if you will, to use the term that we use here in the maintenance world. And so it breaks down. The largest number of our members' divisions are the motor carrier and the supplier division, and those really are the ones that are most active, and you would understand that probably because there's lots of motor carriers that are serving the intermodal industry, about 8,000 motor carriers to be exact, that are providing intermodal service. And the railroads and ports, they're a more limited number, obviously. However, from a volume perspective, they're really the nodes that provide that freight to the motor carriers, and they're all actively involved as well. And so it's really that interaction of those divisions, and you can imagine it's all the major Class 1 railroads, small, large trucking companies. It runs the gamut. A large portion of our industry is independent contractors on the motor carrier side for the trucking companies. So we've got a number of different sizes of carriers that are contributing to the organization. And then we have our associate division, which are government, academia, shippers that are also part of the organization. And I think one thing I'll note, we've seen it's kind of interesting. I've been at IANA 5 years now, and to see the changing of the membership in that, particularly in the supplier division. I think in the past there's been some one of the issues that folks have been concerned about to a degree is the efficiency of the network. And so the intermodal network, and what we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years is an amazing evolution of the whole system. You hear about the railroads talking about precision scheduled railroading and network optimization, but we've seen a huge number of technology companies coming into the business, and particularly joining the organization. We now have over 100 technology companies that are members of IANA. And it's technology of all sorts, whether it's software, hardware, web-based solutions. So it's a very interesting evolution, because I think at the end of the day it comes down to data and information, and that's really what we're hearing. A lot of conversations in the organization about how we best take advantage of data and information to drive efficiencies in the business, and we've seen a dramatic shift. And very exciting times for the industry, and it's allowed it to capture more growth over the last couple of years and more market share, and it's going to continue in that regard from our perspective, because you're going to continue to see those types of companies entering the business and really helping transform it into being more efficient than it is today. Great.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've been in the organization for over 30 years. Before it was even IANA, I think I was introduced to it back about 1984, and very proud to say that I've been on the board of directors a couple of times. Well, actually 3 times I was appointed after someone left early on. So I've been there a long time on the board. And then I also was able to be the chairman when we triumphantly came back to Georgia, where it all started, to Atlanta. And that was a big part of my career, I think, is to be the chairman at that time. Great organization and a wonderful people. And Joni Casey, she's been a great CEO and president, and probably one of the longest seating organizations head in all of the trucking industry. With that being said, Natalia, is it time for a break?
It is. We're going to take a short break and we will be back. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now back. Frank?
Yes, well, that was great. I mean, the organization is fantastic. As I said, I'm a big proponent of it. And I want to go a little bit deeper dive into what is going on. Earlier on, you said we talk a little bit about the committees, and I'd really want to bring that up. How many committees do you have within the IANA organization?
So we have 3 we call standing technical committees: our operations committee, our maintenance and repair committee, and our safety committee. Those are the 3 primary groups that are supporting the membership. We also have another committee that works to support our information services group, but those 3 technical committees are the primary ones.
Okay. Okay, say, for example, in the maintenance and repair committee, and then the ops committee, right? I know we have an organization meeting every year that focuses on those subjects. Am I correct about that in Chicago?
Yeah, so at our 2 meetings a year, we have committee meetings where all the members gather. We have committee meetings that are part of that where they do face-to-face. But this year with COVID, actually the last couple of years, we've been doing more virtual gatherings throughout the year of the committees because there's so much work going on to manage that work throughout the year. So we've been doing a combination of face-to-face and virtual meetings.
Perfect. In IANA, the biggest event is the one you mentioned earlier in my backyard here in Long Beach, California, is the Intermodal Expo. And this year, there was a big hole in the year because all other events were canceled, and the IANA Expo was canceled. And that is the one that everyone looks forward to. It's always held in one of the nicest places in the country. It's been here for a number of years in a row. It's been in Fort Lauderdale. It's been in all kinds of good places for a convention. However, this year we lost out. We lost out from having exhibits. We lost out from having the networking and everything. How are you planning for the 2021 return to Expo? Because we will return to normal. There's no such thing as a new normal. There's abnormal, which we are in now. Conventions are done. We have the physical distancing. We have masks to wear and hands to wash and all that great thing for hygiene. That's fine. I hope that goes on, except for the masks into the future. But what are you going to do to get people back to the showroom floor and back to the committees meeting in a room together? I know a lot of the convention sites were canceled because the state said you can't have more than 10 people in a room. You can't have more than this. And you've got 1,000 people on a showroom floor. Please let me know what's going on.
Well, it has been an interesting year for sure. And Expo is a big hole for the industry. What we've done is we pivoted back early part of the year and canceled Expo, but really have been putting together a great educational program over the course of the year. It's called our Business of Intermodal Continues program, because regardless of what's happening, the industry still needs to deliver the goods. And it's been impressive to see the members really supporting the economy and us throughout this pandemic, because they have to do it. They're essential business. So what we are planning for 2021, we're doing that now. It's our intention to have face-to-face meeting next year. And so what we're doing this year is we're learning through our virtual programming and how we can adapt that going forward to expand, frankly, our audience, because it's amazing to see the new faces and new names and new companies that are coming in to be exposed to our virtual programming. So we believe in the end it's going to be a better program for everybody, because we're going to be able to expand the influence of the industry and of the organization and really help drive the business forward.
Great. I know that we're already planning for our booth for next September. And is it still going to be in Long Beach, or is it moving to another location?
No, we're in Long Beach. It's a great place. It's great, very conducive to the members. A big part of the value that members get is the networking. You mentioned it a few minutes ago. The networking is a big part of Expo, and we want to be able to continue to bring that to the members and to the industry. I can't tell you how many members I talk to that they meet with their customers during the event. They don't have to travel all over the country. Some of them do still, obviously, but they get a chance to do business there, and we're going to do our best to try and make that as best we can, given obviously what's going to be the conditions on the ground at the time, if you will, which are changing constantly depending on who you talk to, the CDC guidelines, state and local. So we're going to obviously our goal will be to maintain safety for the attendees, but we will continue to deliver a best in value program for the membership.
Well, I know you will. It's always been one of the greatest shows, and I can remember going back 25 years ago and being in the hall with so many of the railroads and the trucking companies and the providers and, of course, the steamship companies. I don't even know if you call them steamships anymore, but the idea is all of that coming together in one place gave you this camaraderie. And when I was chairman, I tried to push to remove the word divisions from the different divisions and make them called pieces, because it's all pieces of a puzzle. If you put all of this together, that puzzle of logistics and last stop delivery all comes together with all the modes that are being used now in our global economy. What other initiatives does IANA have underway right now that you maybe be able to share with our viewers?
Well, I think I touched on it a little bit. Our Business of Intermodal Continues program, which is really our virtual programming. And so because our meetings were canceled, we pivoted probably springtime, shortly after the pandemic hit. And we have a program of 29 virtual sessions over the course of the year, a series of market updates, of industry leader webinars, of panel discussions, of educational sessions, and really bringing together the best and the brightest to continue to provide value to the business and to the industry over the course of the year. So that's been a big part of it, and as part of that activity, we've branched off and are doing other virtual activities. Our podcast series with Let's Talk Supply Chain,
yes.
Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, which you graciously contributed to, which we appreciate. Again, trying to expand the influence to other audiences to help them understand the business. And we've also have our Intermodal University program, which we've grown this year as well, which we're really trying to educate new people to the business. We have workforce sessions we're doing. We actually did COVID-specific related sessions when the pandemic hit to help our members and their businesses understand. So there's a lot of that activity we're doing. And on a related point, our committees have been doing a whole host of calls and virtual meetings to continue their work. So that's another thing that's really moving.
Great. Can you tell us something about IANA that most people don't know, that maybe I don't even know?
Well, it's our scholarship program. A lot of people don't realize that IANA has a very robust scholarship program. We've actually, since 2007, we've distributed over $3 million to a number of universities around the country. Yeah, $3 million.
Congratulations
right now
on that.
We have 9 undergraduate schools and 1 graduate school that are receiving scholarship funds from IANA. Funds various things. It funds scholarships for students, tuition, trips to go to intermodal terminals and visit facilities. It helps funds them to visit Expo and contribute in a case competition where the students go, they solve a problem. And so that's a really valuable thing that we're giving back to the industry, trying to grow the next generation of leaders. And that's a really big program. It's grown. The board has been very active in supporting this. And it's really great to see some of those people coming out of those programs. And a lot of our members have sent people to the graduate program, in particular at the Denver Transportation Institute.
Wow. I remember when that started, and when we were going out and soliciting different universities and colleges to be able to be participants in it. And I knew about this program, but I didn't know that we got up to $3 million in it now. And that is fantastic. Congratulations to IANA and for all the good things that have been done for scholarships. And it is important that we bring younger people into this organization. I mean, I'm 72 years old. I think I'm 27 because I'm dyslexic, but the idea is we're trying to make sure that new people come in and take my position at some point in time. Everybody in our company says, Frank, we'll all retire before you do. But I get up every day and I go to my hobby. I don't go to work. So what am I going to retire to? I'm gonna have to hang out for as long as they want me. Hey, I have.
Well, you're right.
Huh?
And I think to add to that, we also have our Future Intermodal Leaders program, which we launched last year. And I mean, you put your money where your mouth is. Trevor, who works for you, is helping drive that program. He's a member of the board. He's very involved in helping us to help shape the program for those future individuals, because they really are the future, and we need to make sure we're giving it care and feeding that it's due.
Well, as an associate member, I believe that we need to support everything that goes on, and our whole company believes to being supportive. Support of Expo, support of the scholarship funds, support of everything going on, bringing up new leaders. And we're there. I'd like to see more participation from from some of the associates in these kinds of areas. I know we get really good backing with the railroads, and we get really good backing with the trucking organizations and everyone else. But I think there's a lot more that can be done, and with 1,000 members, we have enough of an organization. IANA has enough. I still feel part of the things going on, even though I don't hold any positions there anymore. But the idea is, it's really a great organization, and I think it's got a lot to be done. Steve, there's a special award that IANA gives out every year to an individual or individuals, and it is something that is cherished, and it is exalted above a lot of the awards that are given out within our industry. What is the significance of the Silver Kingpin Award, and could you tell us who's the winner this year?
Sure. Well, I think the Silver Kingpin Award has been around since 1977, and it's really intended to recognize really exceptional contributions by an individual or individuals that really have had an impact on our industry. And it doesn't have to be an IANA member; could be anybody. And it's really about their lifetime contribution to the industry, the impact, either through a single act or continuing acts, and outstanding leadership. And it's been, like I said, it's been around since 1977. It's given out annually. There's been 56 people that have received it over that time period. And I think, to me, the thing that's probably most prestigious about it, it's peer selected. So you're nominated by your peers, you're voted on by your peers, and I think that makes it even more special from my perspective, because people recognize the value that these individuals contribute to our industry. And there's been a lot of them. As I mentioned, the industry goes back to the 50s, and it's amazing to see the evolution, and it's been great to see. And this year's recipient is Vince Marino.
Thank you, Ms. Casey, the IANA team, the IANA board, and all my peers, the voting members. I'm truly humbled. The Silver Kingpin Award is rich in history in our industry. Dating back to Ray Asensio, the first award winner in 1977, to Jack Lonigan in 1989, Phil Yeager in 98, my dear friend Jim Peepus in 02, Chuck Connors in 09, and to recent winners Dave Manning and Mike Wilson. All the 55 exceptional award winners before me. I'm honored to be mentioned along with those great women and men of our industry. I've been lucky enough to watch you and learn from you for more than just a few decades, and I can't thank you enough. However, a thank you just doesn't seem to do today justice. I'm so grateful and humbled to have been chosen for this award. I'm also pleasantly surprised. Surprised because this is not about me. It's about every one of the dedicated, hardworking women and men of our family business. They come to work every day, determined to make something good happen. And quite simply, they make me look good. We are blessed with a great team. They live our family values day in and day out. As for me, I'm always quick to say it's not about me, because it's not. So if you'll indulge me for just a few more minutes, I like to put a little different spin on things, and I promise to be brief. My brother, my best friend, and I are blessed to be stewards of a family-owned business, and we rely on those family values in everything we do. If you look back on any of the events that we attend, they always end up looking like a family reunion, because this is a family. It has been for me since 1973, and that's what it's all about. I've been blessed with more than my fair share of amazing mentors, adopted aunts and uncles, and elder stateswomen and men that did more than just take me under their wing. To name a few: Jerry Toomey, Jim Rio, Tony Socia, Arnold Schell, Bob Santos, Tony Cirillo, Paul Tamborelli, Ed Brown, Benny Holland, Willie Seymour, Stevie Knott, Helen Dellish Bentley, and too many more to mention. They always led by example, never ceased to amaze me, never afraid to do the right thing, and never failed to look out for me, my family, and my workforce. I can never thank them enough. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the Daggett family, Harold, Dennis, and John, and their ILA executive team for leading and providing, bar none, the best workforce in the business. Now, most of you knew my dad, knew he was old school, knew he was something. He was a tough guy until he walked in the front door. My mom is the glue that has always held our family together, shaped who we are, and always infused a good bit of class to the equation. You always hear behind every good man is a good woman. Well, I'm blessed to have quite a few in my life, so I hit the lottery. My mom is not only a saint, she is Emily Post. And truthfully, we still work for that lady. I wouldn't have it any other way. My daughter Ashley is my crown jewel, my inspiration, and I thank God every day for choosing me to be her dad. On to Melissa Weigel, Allison Zersky, Erin Maley, Shelley Shirey, Melissa Brown, Michelle Arledge, Megan Hill, Ashley LeMay, Andrea Goodwin, Janet Peterson, Beth Cole, all leaders of our family business. And of course, my better half, Pam, who is unwavering in her support for everything I do. I am truly blessed to have her in my life. Now, I do have a few gentlemen I need to mention. Brian Blaylock, our COO, Sam Claxton, Davey Miller, Michael Winowski, Sean Olszewski, Jason Perry, Pat Graham, Steve Cook, Jody White, Steve Petrosky, just to name a few. They are some of the best in the business. And to you gentlemen, I remind you that we are very lucky. When we mess up, the ladies are never too far away. They quietly pick up the pieces and still make us look good. In closing, I love what I do every day, and it's because of all of you. Thank you for this honor, an honor I'll always cherish, and thank you for letting me share some of my thoughts with you. God bless.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to what Vincent told us?
Well,
Vince.
yeah, I think Vince is a great example of members being active within the association, such as you, Frank, and your company. Commitment to the industry and the association really helps solve problems. You know, Vince and a number of his folks and you and your folks are active on the committees. The committees do a lot of problem solving. They tackle tough issues. They solve problems. They develop recommended practices. And really, that's what helps the industry move forward, by members being active within the association and contributing their time and talents to the betterment of the common good.
Very good. Appreciate that. Now we come to, for both Vince and yourself, we come to the end of this podcast. And we end it with 3 questions. There's going to be 4 questions for you, Steve, but 3 questions. And the first part of the segment is sports in 60 seconds. And we put a little timer up on the screen, but you'll have 60 seconds to talk about your favorite sport, sporting event, team. Go ahead, 60 seconds.
All right. Well, my favorite sport right now is NFL football. Although my entire life is soccer. I've played soccer my whole life, but I'm a sports fanatic. I've coached my kids soccer, baseball, basketball. Growing up,
Wow, that's great.
To travel the world, play soccer myself and my kids. Both of my kids have been all over the world to travel and to see them experience that and to coach young children. Because I think sports is such a great experience for life lessons, and you can learn things and challenged, and there's lots of value, teamwork. I'm a very team-oriented person, and sports is that's what it's about. And so I played a lot of them and enjoy watching a lot of them. My favorite team is the Baltimore Ravens. They unfortunately did not win last night, but they're fun.
Well, they were playing the champs, so what can you say?
I know they played a good.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, you're backing a good team, and I like to hear about the soccer, world football, right? That's a great, and the fact that you've been involved with the teaching and the training of sports for kids, because I think that is something that is so important in growing up. I mean, in my life, all I wanted ever to be is an NFL player, okay? And if I would have been one, I wouldn't have been sitting here today talking to you, and I would have missed out on a great conversation and being in a great organization. So, secondly, the next question, music. What's your favorite music, artist, concert, whatever? And you can elaborate on that.
Well, it's interesting. My music tastes have changed over time, and it really depends on the mood. I have over 200 different artists in my playlist. I really enjoy 80s music, but I like contemporary stuff too, like Post Malone. So to me, music tells a story, and you have so many experiences throughout your life that's tied to music. And so every time I hear different songs, I relate to memories that I had, and probably, tying it back to sports, probably, my high school, before every game, we listened to U2, and and it really got us, energized and really to focus. And so, so to me, it's so many great memories. I can't really pick one, but everything from the Eagles to U2 to REM to even the Goo Goo Dolls. So it ranges from genres. I even enjoy listening to classical music once in a while. So to me, it's a great place to really focus on positive thinking and how you can learn from the story to better yourself and those around you. So it's a great experience, one that it's not just noise to me.
Yeah. Well, to me, music is in the same category as sports. If you don't have music in your life, you don't have a rhythm to it. And in sports, you have to have a rhythm to play and be as well as do as well as you can. In music, by listening and having the diverse background that you have just mentioned of all the different genres of music, that's very impressive to me, because some people are still stuck in the 60s or still stuck in the 70s or still just only listening to rap and hip hop. Nothing wrong with any of that, but when you can enjoy all of it, then you're getting all the different pleasures music can bring to life. So I really enjoyed that conversation. We should have a conversation about music offline.
You're right. But I think the other thing to me that's so important, and I try and being a coach and having kids, I think one of the biggest challenges we have right now and going forward is social engagement with people. And to me, having that span of experience allows you to interact with people of all ages and all types and, very diverse. And you need to be able to do that to be successful. And so you need to be able to converse on multiple platforms. And so having, music in sports are two things that helps you connect with people. And so you need to expose yourself to those things so you can be able to socially engage and be successful, whether it's personal or professional.
Natalia and I were talking the other day, and we both agreed that when we really know we're back to normal is when we're going to a concert.
Yeah.
A concert somewhere that isn't held in a drive-in theater where you're sitting in your car, or that you can fill the street somewhere or a field and be out there and just say, oh my gosh, this is healthy, good, nice warm sun. Even if it's in the rain, you're going to enjoy it. And I can't wait till concerts come back, right?
And yeah, that was, it was very surprising, Steve, what you said, that you like Post Malone. But that's the cool thing about music, right? You'll go to a concert, and before you know it, you'll have a conversation. Music is a good foundation to start a lot of conversations, and you'll see how much you actually have in common. And you look at one person, and, here you are, the Senior Vice President of Member Services. You could be at a Post Malone concert with a 21-year-old with tattoos all over his face, and looking at it, it seems as if you don't have anything in common, but here you shared a common bond. You both like Post Malone, and the conversation could go even further, and you could learn from each other. It's it's more than just noise, like you said. It's an experience.
No, our second last question for you, because is one that is very important, and we call it bottoms up. And a lot of people think that might be like a drinking game or something, but it has nothing to do with that. Bottoms means something that happened that was really, really low in your life, during your life, and how did you take it and turn it around to be an up part of it? And this is always the most interesting one for me, because we've had a number of people on now in the 7th podcast, and everyone has had a story that is uplifting from the bottom to up.
Well, it's interesting, because throughout your life, you are going to fail, right? At some point.
Of course.
And
if you don't do anything, you never fail, except fail to do it.
Right? So that's the best learning experience.
Yeah.
And there's a number of them, but I think probably the one that's most front and center to me is when my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
Back on May 16th of 2018. It was the same day my older son graduated from high school, had his graduation ceremony.
Wow.
So it would talk about emotions that we went through that day. And, the thing that it taught me, she is such a awesome woman to make it through that experience. She had to go through multiple surgeries, multiple rounds of chemotherapy. Through it all, was positive, was focused. She worked through it all amazingly. And, November 30th of 2018, after 6 months of all of that, she came through it. And she's in remission and been in remission since. And so...
cancer, man.
So, to me, it just it embodies, don't take no, always fight for what you believe in, be true to yourself, be true to those around you, and love everybody like today was our last day, and you need to live for the moment, plan for the future, but don't ever forget to tell someone you love them, give them a hug, and take care of each other. And so it really helped you change priorities for me. I've always been very career driven and focused, wanting to do always trying to go above and beyond. But that experience, said, it's life is all aspects of life is important. And if you don't have love and you don't have family, you don't have friends, there's a hole. And so make sure that you're always telling people how much you care about them, and always support people you love and you care about. And she's stronger than I ever will be. And it's just pretty amazing.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. Yeah. I know it's a hard one for you to bring across, but what a wonderful experience. And I tell you what, I am going to send you immediately after this podcast a album, or MP3 of a 92-year-old musician that I used to book in the 1970s that just made a new album. His name is Jimmy Johnson. And when you get the album, the very first song and the title of the album, you're going to know why I sent it to you. You're going to know why.
Great.
Because thank you for that bottoms up. Thank you for that bottoms up. And I think you're going to enjoy this piece of music to go with your bottoms up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The last question, I'm not going to ask anybody else this, but I'm only going to ask you. What's it like to work for Joni Casey?
Well, she's a big reason I came to IANA 5 years ago. She is a very successful businesswoman, has done great by the association. And, she's so knowledgeable about the industry and its ins and outs. I've learned so much from her. But she challenges us all to be better than, it gets back to, the sports, analogies, and be better than what you can be. And that's enabled her to be, and the organization to be successful as long as it has. And so it causes us all to challenge ourselves and don't always think that the status quo is always the right way to go. Be willing to take risks. And it's great. It's been great to work for her. I've learned so much and learned so much from the organization. And I think this is an amazing industry. And like I mentioned earlier, it's all about the people. And, between her and her leadership and the staff, we have a tremendous staff that supports the members on a day-to-day basis. And it's really fun to work with these folks. And again, to use what you talked about earlier, it's a passion. This industry is a passion. Yes, it's obviously a job. We have a job to do, but we're doing our best to better the lives of everybody. Not just our companies, but our companies touch on everybody in this country. And that's a pretty awesome thing, right? Something you do every day can impact on so many people. And that's really what helps drive me to work every day and really work for her, because she helps set that tone, and it's great. It's a great experience.
Wonderful. Well, I have the highest respect for her and admiration for the jobs that she's done for the industry. With that being said, is there anything you can think of that we should change in this podcast? What did you think of the podcast? Do you have any suggestions for us? Because if you've seen some of them before, you probably have picked something out that we should have done better or didn't. And I'm always trying to improve them to be the best that you can be. Steve, what could you add?
I think you should do more of these.
Wow. Well,
there's a lot of smart people out there that are part of this industry, and I think you're providing a great service to the industry. And so the more that you can do, the more we can get people out there to educate the new generation of people, the better off we're all going to be in the long run.
Well, thank you very much. And we're planning on at least doing one a month. I would like to fit it in the schedule for 2 a month, but I believe as we come into the spike season now and everything else going on here, entering to the end of the year, and there's only 14 weeks left in the year. 14 weeks. Amazing how fast this has gone by. Please, 2021. There ain't no cure for 2020. As we always close our show, I take off my tie, and that means that the show's come to an end. We have this wonderful tie shade here that one day I picked up in a store, and I said, man, this is going to be a great program ender. Because everyone wonders why I wear a tie all the time, but I wear a tie because that's my uniform. So now part of my uniform is gone. I'm going to open up this shirt a little bit. All right, well, this one's going to go up. So let's see. Perfect. Right here next to every other tie. And the moon tie has launched. Thank you very much. Look at this. This is lots of moons on there. So, the show is over. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. And please tell everybody about this podcast. Thank you.